Dear reader, I'm Tony and this is Book Text, and I am doing the over 30 tag because I am over 30. But first, our word of the day today, conveniently, is tricenarian. It's a noun. It refers to someone in their 30s. So I am a tricenarian, hence I'm doing the over 30 tag. So there are 6 questions. This tag originated with Emily at Ink Not Blood, linked below. And I was not tagged by anyone, but several people have mentioned, if you want to do this, please do it. And I want to do it today. So, first book is, first prompt. Name one of your favorite books that features a protagonist who's 30 years old or older. There's a lot to choose from for this, but I went with something that I have mentioned before on this channel, which is Elizabeth Gaskell's Cranford. There isn't necessarily a main character. There is a narrator, but she's not really the main character. There are several characters. I would say that the 2 sisters are kind of the main characters, Miss Maddie and her sister Deborah. So they are middle-aged, over 30, and they are so funny and so heartwarming. You just want to get to know them, and I aspire to be a cute little old lady like them. Prompt number 2, name a book that represents who you were when you were younger. This one was easy. I have Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. So I'm probably still a lot like Anne, but when I was younger, I had a hard time distinguishing between fantasy and reality, much like Anne does. I remember my father sitting me down at the kitchen table, and I was probably 10, 11, 12, maybe right around Anne's age, and he had to have a serious talk with me about, and I remember him doing this gesture, fantasy, reality. And I still prefer to live in my fantasy world, but I acknowledge that you have to live in reality at the same time. And it was, so I just understand Anne's need to imagine things and to write stories. And I was a terrible liar as a child because I would make up stories and I wouldn't explain to other people that I made them up, that they were not real. And so that was probably very frustrating for my parents. Prompt number 3, name a book that represents where you are in your life now. This was kind of fun. So I chose Dear Committee Members, a novel by Julie Schumacher, not sure. And, winner of the Thurber Prize for American Humor. It is a very funny book. There are some kind of sadder parts to it, but this is told through, so cleverly, it's told through letters and emails. The main character is a professor at a college that is kind of going under, at least an apartment that's going under. And he has a graduate student working for him who needs help getting internships, research assistantships. He's trying to apply for other schools, jobs, and so this book is told entirely through letters of recommendation. And I spent the entire day, a couple days ago, writing letters of recommendation for past students because I'm a professor. And so this was this is where I am in my life right now, is just kind of stuck in reality, writing these letters of recommendation. But this book actually did help me figure out how to write good letters of recommendation. Not that these are really good ones, but some of the styling just helped me feel more comfortable in what I was doing. So, fun book, recommend it. Even if you're not involved in academia, it's quite delightful to kind of watch things unfold. I think the main character has like an ex-wife that he's writing to, as she's one of the committee members that he needs to get his graduate student accepted by, and so that's kind of introduces some drama. Really fun. Dear committee members. Prompt number 4, name a book that represents something that has never changed about you. I don't own the exact book, but I own its 2 sequels for whatever reason. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark by Alvin Schwartz. And I have more scary stories to tell in the dark and scary stories, more tales to chill your bones, the third book. And you guys, you have to get these in the originals because the artwork is so freaky, so eerie, and they kind of dumbed it down in more recent editions. But the movie that came out last year is based on these original illustrations. And the illustrator is Stephen Gamel. Wonderful, super freaky books. I've always loved scary stories. I read these as soon as I was old enough to read them, maybe 6, 7 years old. They gave me nightmares and I enjoyed it. And they still kind of give me nightmares. They're still really scary and really disturbing, but I can see now that they're definitely geared towards children. And I have moved on to scarier stories as an adult, but I have always loved scary stories, even into my 30s. Prompt number 5, name one of your favorite classics. This was surprisingly hard because I read a lot of classics like many of you, and I love classics, but I ended up choosing, I think I was on the mind, I had that scary stories thing on my mind. I chose Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House. Kind of a modern classic, but a very scary one. I love the personification of the house, that it doesn't want them to leave. There's something very sinister about the whole thing. Even the premise is bizarre. The premise of like them going there for a psychological study. Really sketchy. As an academic, what is their methodology here? I'm not understanding it. But so love this one. Very scary. I remember watching the movie from the 60s, the black and white. Also creepy. Enjoyed that. Have enjoyed less more recent adaptations, but the original kind of psychological horror of this book and the old movie are fantastic. So I love, and Shirley Jackson, we just love Shirley Jackson, don't we? Okay, prompt number 6 is name a book you like or would like to read that was published in the year you were born. So I had lots of options for this one, but I ended up going with a book that I would like to read, and that is The Bean Trees by Barbara Kingsolver. I don't know much about the book itself, but I do know that I have read other Barbara Kingsolver books and really enjoyed them. They make me think. They're not hard to read, and so I think it would be kind of fun to tackle. The Bean Trees. Published, should I say how old I am? Published in 1988. Ooh, such a good year. Do you know why? Because 88 is all you need to travel through time. Isn't that the speed at which time travel is possible with the flux capacitor? Ugh, aging myself yet again. So those are my 6 books that represent me in my tricenarian years. I don't know if I can make that an adjective, but I just did. My tricenary years, maybe. If you are over 30 and would like to do this tag, please do it. I will put the questions, the prompts in the description. And remember, there is always another book.